Boom! Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you go sheep, you never go cheap.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I found a Shannon.
I found a Marce. Yay! This is episode 30 for both of us.
How cool is that? Episode 30. Welcome.
It's so fun. What a coincidence. It was meant to be.
Absolutely.
For Marce's viewers, I'm Shannon from soxcetera, and this is my episode 30.
Yes, and for Shannon's viewers, I'm Marce, otherwise known around the interwebs as Hey BrownBerry from the BrownBerry Chronicles podcast, and it's also my episode 30. Welcome.
So fun. So you can find me on the socials, Shannon Mariah on Instagram, and Shannon Fisher on, what's the other thing called? Ravelry.
That's the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
When you're into fibery stuff. I am Hey BrownBerry pretty much everywhere. I'm not as active everywhere as I am on Ravelry and Instagram, so you can always try me there as Hey BrownBerry.
Yay.
Awesomeness.
Welcome, everybody.
Why are we together other than the fact that we love each other?
Well, I thought that was it. I thought that's why you were here, because you love me.
That is it. Hey, everybody. We're friends, and we thought you should know.
Yes, that's right. We're telling the world.
I guess there's another reason.
Yeah, there is one other reason. It is secondary, but still great. We are running a part of a KAL together. So it's the Wonders of the World KAL that probably lots of you already know about, because there are 6 other podcasters who have been running it since June. We each took a month, and Marce and I are doing May.
That's right.
We're
Which
in charge.
For us is coming up in a couple days. Depending on when you're watching this, it's just about to be May, and the Wonders of the World KAL is in full swing.
It super is. So Dan and Kay from
the Bakery Bears.
Thank you.
Podcast.
The Bakery Bears are just wrapping up April, and they were in charge of Europe.
Right.
And so Marce and I are taking over to do North America for May, but we've decided that we're going to run our KAL from May until the end of June, because the rest of the KAL will wrap up in June. But officially, June's official person is Connie from Chili Knits.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of convenient that we are co-hosting. So thank you, Shannon, for allowing me to partner up with you, because we are makers representing both of the countries in North America. So I live in South Florida, and I won't necessarily only talk about makers from the United States, but I'm happy to rep the US for now. But oddly enough, I am a Canadian citizen. So we've got it covered. But Shannon, where are you? Yes,
I'm in Canada. I'm coming at you from Vancouver on the West Coast. I always have to do the directions in my head. I'm like, am I east or no, north, east? Okay, I'm west. Yeah, I'm West Coast.
Right. So we make this really amazing diagonal from one end of the continent on the top left, if you're looking at a map, down to the bottom right.
Yeah.
We got it covered.
Representing both coasts here of 2 different countries. So cool.
Yep. And it's very nice to know that talking about North American makers for the next month will probably be pretty easy for us, because there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, so many good ones. And we're both hoping, we have some in mind, and we're both hoping to find more maybe less known ones that we can tell you about and get excited about with you.
Definitely. We want to crowdsource this information. Where are the Canadian and US based makers? And we're looking to you all to help us find some that we don't know about yet, and maybe celebrate with us the ones we already know about.
Definitely. So Go ahead.
I was going to say that's really the theme of the Wonders of the World KAL, is to expose folks to who's out there around the world.
Yeah, so right now I have a chatter thread open in my soxcetera Ravelry group, and I would encourage you to go there, and you can do a number of things. You can talk about what you're going to be making. You could get ideas from other people. You could share some of your favorite North American makers. Bonus points if it's someone who's not as well known. Love the big people, but let's give some props to the little people too. Not that they're little, that sounds ridiculous. You know what I mean. The lesser known people.
Yeah, until we get to them.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I'm having fun just looking at what's in the chatter thread already. Shannon had opened it a few weeks ago just to kind of get things rolling, and there's already some folks chattering in there. Shannon's going to open an FO thread. So for the project-based side of this, Cal, if you're making something with a North American-based yarn or pattern or done by a North American designer, and you finish it during the time frame of the knit along, which, as Shannon said, starts May 1st and will wrap up June 30th, we want to see it. So there will be a finished objects thread in the soxcetera group so that you can post pictures and we can all see how awesome you are. And that's another way we can learn about some other makers around us.
And we will be drawing prizes from both groups. So from the chatter thread and from the finished object thread. Speaking of prizes.
Nice segue.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so Shannon has talked about some prizes that are going to be available as part of the KAL in her previous episode. So feel free to go back and check that out. She's shown some really encouraging, some really inspiring stuff that'll make you want to get in on this. And I would also like to feature some makers by offering prizes as well. So I'm going to show you some samples of things that I intend to offer. So this disclaimer is you may not get this exact item, but it will be something from this maker. So I'm looking to put together a prize pack, and the prize pack will include a project bag, a skein of yarn, some stitch markers, and probably a sample from a maker friend of mine. So let's start with the project bag, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
I like project bags. I tend to just fall in love with things, and project bags has definitely been something I've purchased a lot of from small businesses lately, because they're just people out there who are so good at sewing and picking fabric. So this is an example of a project bag, drawstring bag. It's made by my friend Bree, who actually lives here in Florida. So she's a North American maker. She sews and quilts and knits and crochets. And I got this bag because butterflies are my favorite.
It's like tie-dye and butterflies. It's like everything good in one bag.
All the good things. Bree is an excellent sewer. This bag has a beautiful lining, really good details. So she is on Etsy. She makes, they're called Bree bags. She's Stitchzilla on Instagram, and you can get her Etsy information from her Instagram, but I will be donating a Bree bag to a lucky winner. And inside that bag, I'm going to put a skein of yarn like this one.
Yay.
This is a Dusty Rose sport weight high twist yarn, and it's actually hand dyed by me. My daughter, my oldest daughter, Adachi, and I have a yarn dyeing business called Dynamics Yarns, because we love yarn and we love color, and she and I decided we would start a small passion project together, and we would like to donate a skein of yarn to the World KAL, so that will be in your project bag. This one is called Professor Umbridge Knows Best, so if you're Harry Potter fans, you'll recognize this as Professor Umbridge's pantsuit color.
Oh, fun.
And then a lovely, lovely maker who I don't think is as well known yet because she's just getting started with her Etsy shop. Her name is Gina, and she has a shop called Silver Tombs. Is that coming up, okay, Shannon?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so she's Silver Tombs on Etsy, and she sent me these gorgeous stitch markers. What is knitting without a little bling?
Those are fun. They remind me of like green disco balls or something.
Exactly. That's exactly what they look like in real life. So, hi, Gina. If you're watching this, I'm going to use this as a prize. Thank you so much for sending them to me. We'll put that in the project bag. We're going to have a separate prize donated by a friend of mine who's a maker, and it's not yarn, and it's not a project bag, and it's not stitch markers, but it is good for makers. This is a natural soap made by a company called Lola Blue. My friend Jamie is also based here in Florida, and she makes natural body products. Now, if you can read that label, it says beer soap. Mm-hmm. Handcrafted with local love. So she lives on the other coast of Florida, and she's going to put together a nice hand care kit for us. So
cool.
Some lotion and some skin scrub, and this stuff is all indulgent.
So does it have beer in it?
This one has beer in it.
What?
This is sweet orange beer with mint and lime. So it's got spearmint oils. It's got Big Top Brewing, Conch Republic, Key Lime, wheat beer. So it's very Florida. Some organic cocoa butter and shea butter and local love. So you'll get some products from this amazing local company. This is a soap sample that I'm going to put in our project bag pack. And then we'll have a separate prize with some more products from Lola Blue.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you can find them online, lolablueliving.com. So they started as a small business, and I think probably one of their biggest achievements so far, after starting literally like in their garage, is that they had their products in the gifty bags at the Grammys, I believe it was.
Oh.
Yeah, so small business going a little bit bigger.
That's a big D.
If you guys are like me, Shannon, is it like this for you where it's so easy to like take care of other people, but we don't do simple stuff like be nice to our hands, even though we use them all the time?
Oh, I am so bad for taking the time to put lotion on. Like I'm like, I don't have time for it. And then I'm like super dry. I have the worst hangnails. I carry nail clippers with me they're in my car, they're in our trailer, they're in my purse, because I get the worst hangnails. And my mom did too, and she would like bite at them.
Yeah.
And it was her hands were a hot mess. So I have nail clippers everywhere.
I have in my little Notions pouches little nail files for the same reason.
Yeah. So no, I do not do those little things to take care of myself.
Just like that. I bet some of you have that same issue where you'll knit several rows or rounds on something and catch on something on your fingers, but you'll just keep going. We have to do better, people.
Come on, people.
So hopefully one of you will win some nice hand care stuff, and encourage the rest of us to do some self-care. We need these hands to work well.
Yes. I even have little lotion things in my Notions pouch, but I never think, like I'll be sitting at the table at Starbucks all the time in the world to sit and chat with my knitter friends. Do I take it out and put it on? No. Just sits in my Notions bag.
I'm going to be your accountability buddy, and I'm putting everyone on notice. Be kind to your hands, and I'll give myself that advice too.
Yeah, let's do it. So cool. I will, I think it's actually not my last episode. I think it's episode 28 that I talked about the prizes that I so far have to give. But I also have a couple more coming in. I have had a couple other people reach out to me and let me know there's things they want to donate. So as those I can speak. Yeah. As those come in, I will show them to you. But I also think I mentioned that I will hopefully get my act together and make a project bag or two as well to toss in. A
soxcetera project bag?
Yeah.
Now I have to enter the calendar.
I know. Well, when you were showing your yarn, I was like, can I win? But I already have some of your yarn.
We will be nice podcasters and give the prizes to you guys.
Maybe.
So to recap, May 1st to June 30th, check the soxcetera Ravelry group for chatter and finished objects. And if you're a maker out there and you just want to get to know some more people in the community, that's a good place to go, because if you're in North America, We want to know about you, especially if you feel that you're just getting started or you'd like to broaden your audience. Come find us.
Yeah. Or if you would like to donate something, that's super great too. Because we'll probably be giving prizes out. Because we're running our KAL for May and June, we could be receiving prizes throughout both months and announce the prize winners towards the end of June.
That would be fun.
So
I love that idea.
That's a thing that it can also happen.
So for those of you who are visitors to the BrownBerry Chronicles podcast, you will have heard me talk about Shannon before, and the reasons why I like to watch her podcast at soxcetera. And this is my intro, Shannon.
Okay.
One of the segments of hers that I love is called Shouty Shan. Shouty Shan is where I get to go and learn something about what's happening in terms of social justice, typically around the world. And when we were talking about planning this joint episode, I encouraged Shannon to include that in this podcast because I always get something out of it. And I think it would be really cool for my viewers who may not have seen Shannon's podcast to hear Shouty Shan and what interesting things we can pay attention to this week.
Cool. Well, that's an awesome intro. Thanks, Marce. Yeah. So, typically in the past, Shouty Shan has been me just sharing a blurb from an article that I've read that's been going around the internet, and it correlates to social justice issues, which I have in the last few years become super passionate about. And I get really excited to share what I'm learning with people because I sometimes things hit me as so obvious. And I'm like, how did I get this far in life without knowing this? How have I gotten this far? Having this idea about people, different marginalized groups, or not realizing that I had this idea. So it just gets so excited to share that with people. Because I'm like, maybe you didn't know this either. Maybe you have also been being a jerk and didn't realize it. Guess what? There's still time to do better.
I love that. I love that reasoning for not just taking it on for yourself, but sharing it.
Yeah, for sure. So, but the last couple of weeks, well, including this week. So last week, I just shared a couple of books that I had just recently finished. And so we thought we both been doing some reading. So we thought we'd just talk about what we're reading.
Yes.
So I have just gotten into audiobooks. I did not think I was an audiobook person at all because I often feel like if I have time if my ears have time, I'm usually watching TV or sometimes podcasts.
Yeah.
But I've realized that, because I feel torn about reading sometimes because I'm like, I can't do anything else while I read.
While you read.
Well, hello, audiobooks. So I've been listening to them whenever I commute anywhere, even if it's just 5 minutes down the street, that the car is connected to my phone, so it pops on wherever I'm at, and I get 5 minutes of the book in, or I'll just be like, I'm just gonna knit and listen to my book.
And it all adds up. Those few minutes add up.
And so it's been really cool. And there's something so intimate about listening to a book. I just feel like it writes itself on to your memory. It's just so neat to hear it. So the audiobook that I just finished is called The Hate You Give, and it's written by Angie Thomas, and the narrated version is narrated by Bonnie Turpin, and she does such an amazing job. She does all of the voices. I can't if I was to narrate a book, I feel like especially if there's so many different characters, I would never be able to keep track of how I did that one voice. So I just read the whole thing in my own voice. I would be like, this is what you get. This is what you're doing. Because even when I was a teacher and I'd read out loud to my class, I'm like, I can't keep track of the voices. So I'm just going to read it, kids. This is,
You'd end up bleeding over into some other character.
Totally. So,
Yeah.
but she like, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I mean, I know they can like edit it and stuff. So there's probably like some technique to that, but it's still so amazing to me. And there's so many really rich characters in that book. And so the book is about, I think my review of it was something like, there has never been a more nonfiction fiction book. Because it's the story of a teenage girl who's Black who watches her friend get shot by the police. And so it is really, it's a tough read or listen.
Yeah.
But it's also really, it's really endearing. There's these really tender moments between her and her family and sometimes her friends, and her dad isn't a character I especially love in this book. He's just, he's really just a lovely human being in the way he's just really tender with his daughter and his wife, and his other kids is really neat. So I love that, but it's, she touches on so many different issues.
Well, it's completely relevant, right? It's relevant to what's happening currently. And it sounds like your point about listening to the story and having a good voice actor actually play different characters, it sounds like that really made it more engaging.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I've been hearing her voice in my head. I think I finished the book like a week ago, and I can still hear her voice in my head, and
that says something.
So yeah, I came away from that book feeling like I just feel like a better person for having. It was like eavesdropping on a conversation that I wouldn't normally be privy to, and learning so much about, and just the way she wrote the book, like she was able to really address a lot of stereotypical things you hear people say about police brutality that are just complete, white people nonsense. And she's able, because she brings in, the daughter is dating a white boy, and she goes to a private school, so a lot of her friends are very white and have a different kind of privilege. So through the different conversations and scenarios, she really like touches on so many different social justice issues that that I think different marginalized groups have to deal with. So it's a very good read.
So I haven't read it yet, but now I want to, and I'll tell you that your description makes me think there's something in it for everyone. Would you recommend it for a certain age and up?
I mean, I thought it's got a ton of swearing in it, which if you know me at all, you know I love that. I almost said whatever. I don't know your audience, so I won't swear today. But
freaking loves it.
So I was thinking, would I listen to this with Emma? And I totally would, because I don't have an issue with that at all personally.
Yeah.
And Emma's my daughter, and she's 14 and a half. So I would 100% listen to it with her. Obviously,
you feel like the value of the content outweighs just that piece.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's fair. So fun fact, Shannon and I are both homeschooling mamas with teenagers right around the same age. So we feel that way about a lot of things, that the exposure that we would give to our daughters on a certain topic can outweigh something that maybe traditionally would make folks uncomfortable, or that we might even be uncomfortable with in some way. But if there's value in that article, book, song, conversation, we would let that outweigh something like swearing. But, your mileage may vary. So
yes, your comfort level is going to be different.
Yeah, they would be open to something as long as they've had a chance to look at it first. So maybe that's your jam. So Shannon, give us the book name again and the narrator.
So it's called The Hate You Give, and it's written by Angie Thomas, and it's narrated by Bonnie Turpin, and 1 billion stars. It's so
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Yay.
I loved it.
you expose me to something. See, every time
Yeah.
I learn something.
Well, if you read it, let me know, because I would love
I
to talk to
will.
you
And
about
then we
it.
can, yeah, we can chat about it. That's one thing that I've done more lately. Speaking of books, is picked up reading again to the point where I can call it a hobby again. So if I do read that, I would love to talk to you about it, because I find that I've come back to reading at a time that I am becoming more social in my hobbies. And I have, for example, started reading a book because of an online book club that was started by another podcaster whose name is Rachel. Rachel has the Treehouse Knits podcast, and she lives in Michigan. So she's a North American maker podcaster. And she started a book club group on Facebook to read this book, which is called Women's Work, The First 20,000 Years. And the subtitle says Women, Cloth, and Society in Early Times. And the author is Elizabeth Wayland Barber. I'm in chapter 5 of this book. It's not quite 300 pages or so. And I'm really enjoying it. And I will be very candid. I wasn't sure that I would enjoy it, because I am typically not a nonfiction reader until very recently. I used to read when I was young, primarily for entertainment. I was a voracious reader as a child, but it was almost always as an escape. So I didn't really enjoy books that were assigned reading in school. And I had this thought that all nonfiction was boring and was just full of like dates and history facts and other people's words that I might not connect to. And that's completely shifted. And this is part of that shift. So the gist of this book is tracing back, I'll call it generally fiber and textile arts in history. So I connect most to this book as a female maker who is into fiber arts and has interest in textile arts like sewing and weaving. But I think as a historical nonfiction book, even if you were not into those things, there are so many interesting facts in here about how things got started for us as humans, why we eat certain animals and not others typically, why certain cultures who live in a particular environment or geography have certain traditions. All of that is woven in here. This is umpteen years worth of research on the author's part. So I think even if you're not a yarny or a fiber person, you might find something enjoyable in here. And it does go chronological, but I honestly take this like a reference book, or if you wanted to pick it up and open a chapter and read that chapter, you could. So I like that about it too. You could pick it up and just take something from it. So the social part of it is that I joined the Facebook group. I'm not on Facebook as a participant, just for everyone who watches the podcast. If you go looking for me there, you probably won't find me, because I joined it just for the sake of being part of a virtual book club to discuss this book. And it opened up this whole circle of people to me: archaeologists, people who do fiber and textile arts for a living, people who don't do fiber and textile arts for a living and have small businesses on the side that allow them to express their art through yarn and fabric and fiber. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful for finding a nonfiction book on a topic that I'm interested in, to show me that nonfiction books are not boring. If they're written well, they're actually quite good. So I do recommend this book for really anyone. You probably will be more interested in it from an artistic, creative perspective, to see how dyeing and weaving and knitting and other things got started. And if you're a history geek, you'll probably love it. So
what is making it not boring? What is it?
The way the author writes, I was challenged at first because it does have dates and places and names. And I will be honest, I was challenged at first because I couldn't personally connect to the history of Macedonia and the history of sort of European or Mediterranean areas, because that's not my ancestral history. And so at first I was like, I feel like this is more like school reading. But as it went on and talked about how the first loom was constructed, I tend to be very interested in the origin of things in general. Who was the first person who picked up this thing and ate it and was like, this is good, we should eat this more? That's just a general interest for me. And the author has pictures and really good descriptive words about things like that. So it wasn't just in 500 BC, this happened. There were all these little tidbits about the fact that, you know, women started with certain crafts in the home because they were crafts they could do while nursing a baby, or while that they could pick it up and put it down because they had to chase a toddler. And then it changed when we went from being nomadic to stationary, and the role of women and the role they played in society according to the things they could make and how cloth represented your place in a class structure. The way the author writes about those things to me is, it's pictorial almost. I can picture it. I can see back into that time. And so it interests me more than just dates and facts.
Is it written by a woman?
It is. Yep. Elizabeth Wayland Barber.
Okay. Yeah, you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So I didn't think I would get into it. And I will say that one of the things I love most about the fact that I picked this up, because I did it just on recommendation from Rachel, who's someone I really like, is that when I realized I wasn't connecting to the ancestral part of it, I went and looked. What is the equivalent for African textiles? What was big in the Caribbean in a certain time? So I went and found these websites and other resources that I thought maybe I can connect to that. So I probably wouldn't have done that had I not started on this little book journey.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
saw you take a sip of your tea.
I did. Isn't my mug great? Cheers.
If Shannon didn't know that I liked her so much, she would just think I was plain stalking her, probably. So we have mugs. We actually have matching mugs. I have a mug like the one that Shannon is holding.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to talk about who made these for us?
So these mugs are made by Natalie, who runs or who owns the shop.
Mm-hmm. Remembrances Pottery.
Thank you.
I always want to say Remembrances, but it's Remembrances Pottery.
Remembrances Pottery. So this is my second mug of hers. The first one I got myself, and the second one was a gift from Marce. And so I got to pick this out myself. And I absolutely love it. And we were both just talking about Natalie's, I think it's her latest design. It's the socks, which is so cute.
Sock mug out. Oh, I love that mug
really
so much.
need her to stop making mugs that I like, because I have a mug problem already.
I've talked about replacing all of ours with knitting related ones.
I've also had that same conversation. But so well, tell me about your mug, and then I have something to say about mine.
Yeah, so this mug is a Remembrances Pottery mug, handmade by Natalie, and you can see that it's yarny themed. It actually has yarn skeins going all the way around.
So cute.
And she gifted this to me soon after Adachi and I started yarn dyeing. She fell in love with a colorway of ours we call Mint Chip, and I'll hold it close if you guys can see.
Oh, cool.
So Mint Chip is a pale green yarn base with little chocolatey brown chips in it, and she had that on there and thought, I thought you would like this mug, and she actually sent it to me before it was sort of generally available, which made me feel super special.
She is such a lovely human being. Like, it's one thing to like really like an artist's stuff, and it's quite another when they are a fantastic person on top of it. And Natalie is one of those people. Like, even if I hated her stuff, I feel like I'd want to buy it because she's just so
I still want to knit with her.
Lovely. Yeah, absolutely. But her stuff happens to be really fantastic. So the thing about this mug is that I'm right-handed, so I hold it like this, obviously.
Yes.
And at first I was like, oh, I want everyone to see the little sheepy. Like, she put it on the wrong side. And then I'm like, well, F that.
Yes.
This mug is mine. Why should I not be enjoying the sheep when I'm drinking it? Yeah. And who's around when I'm drinking tea? Like, nobody. So who am I wanting to show the sheep off to other than me?
I love that.
Your
mug, your sheep.
Exactly. So Natalie, you did this perfectly.
You guys check her out on Etsy, Remembrances Pottery.
Yes. She's so great. So yeah, those are mug business.
Yes, indeed. Tea
Also,
is
hi,
good.
Natalie.
Tea and knitting. Hi, Natalie.
We love you.
So speaking of knitting, what shall we talk? What shall we chat about next?
Yeah, so we should do some works in progress.
Okay.
Before we do that, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
a little plug for half myself, half my friends. So I meant
Yeah.
to talk about this on my last podcast and I forgot, but I was recently interviewed on a podcast called Adrift on Purpose, and you can find it wherever you can find podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. And it's run by my friends Liz and Megan, and they are really lovely people. And so they've just been their whole shtick is sort of talking to people who sort of live a non-conventional lifestyle. And so Megan asked if I would be on their show, and I was like, sure, but why?
You're super traditional.
Well, I guess I am non-conventional, but I was like, I don't really feel like I have anything, like I'm not really that interesting. But it was, regardless of whether it's interesting or not, the way, like the questions they asked me and the things they pulled out of me and just having a conversation with them was super fun. So I can't remember what episode it is, but it's one of their more, I think they've maybe released 2 or 3 since mine, so you'll have to go back a little bit. But if you wanted to hear that,
yes.
It's Adrift on Purpose, and I think my name's in whatever episode title it is.
Very
and
cool.
If you get a chance and you like it, definitely review them on iTunes, because I think that helps push them up to the top.
Support them. Totally.
Yeah, so there's that, and that was fun. And
I love the title. I'm already intrigued.
Yeah, and actually my husband Steve just recently redid their logo.
Nice.
So when you go see that, that's partly Steve's work. They had something in mind already, so he just kind of put together what they wanted. And so anyways,
6 degrees of separation, man.
Yeah, so Adrift on Purpose, and they have some really great episodes. Like if there's a title that speaks to you, give it a listen, because they interview some really fun people.
I'm so thankful for audio, just as a technology, the things that are available now. Video is great too.
Yeah.
But audio, like you were saying about audiobooks, I've been a longtime fan of audiobooks, and when podcasts became a thing, I eat those up because they allow me to multitask, and I love that.
For sure. I've kind of stopped listening to the radio, and actually audio podcasts or books sort of have been getting me to the gym lately, because I'm like, oh, the gym, I don't want to go. Oh, but I'm in the middle of a really good book right now, so it'll be like giving me a good chunk of time. Yeah, so it's been nice to like propel me to do the thing I don't think I want to do. But
I love that. I love connecting that.
Yeah, so it's been good. So yay for audio, yay for technology.
I love that.
So back to works in progress. So I just have one.
Okay, I want to see it.
I've been working on them for a really long time, because I sort of just put them down and finished this sweater, which I showed you guys last week. This is my Ailmont. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. And so these are the socks that I'm making out of Legacy Knits yarn. I think this is Susan Sanderson colorway from Hocus Pocus. Is that the movie?
I love those colors. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just turning the heel on the first sock. It's just a slip stitch. Heel and gusset.
Heel flap and gusset.
Yes, thank you.
From toe, you did those toe up, it looks like.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep. We're toe up knitters, people. We're not hating on cuff down, but that's what happens here.
I might be a little bit. I don't understand. I don't understand. Why would you do it cuff down when you could do it toe up?
All the cuff down people are like, really, Shannon?
I actually had a total debate with some people at Knit Night last night. They're like, why would you do it toe up? I'm like, I can give you about 10 reasons why you would do it toe up. She didn't say 10. I'm like, I can give you a lot. And so I like started, I think I got to 5, and they're like, nice. Is that it? I'm like, 5 is a lot.
5 is a lot.
And
if
then
you're making a decision like that, 5 is a lot.
I think I gave like 3 more. So I'm like 8. 8 is pretty good. That's a lot of reasons.
You could sway somebody with 8 reasons.
It's very compelling. But so I'm doing the Hermione's pattern, but thanks to you, Marce, I actually always use, no matter what pattern I'm using, I always use the Sock Magician's heel recipe.
Oh, awesome. So Nathan of the Sockmatician podcast has a toe up, heel flap, and gusset sock recipe. I like that word. It's a sock recipe.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's just
you can check it out.
You can do it no matter what pattern I'm doing, I do it because it's just all based on numbers.
It is. And it kind of helps you feel, I don't know if you had this experience, but it kind of helps you feel like, okay, I'm a toe up sock knitter who likes heel flap and gusset. And then you can just go.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do a lot more thinking than that.
And it uses German short rows, which I now use in every sweater I make that calls for short rows. I
love it. Me too.
They are so easy and perfect and invisible.
Yes. So, I can show you a bit of that when we talk about my whip. So now that you've done this gorgeous sweater and you've picked them back up again, are you cruising along on them?
Yeah, I think I was sort of like uninspired. Like the gusset I find pretty boring to do. All those increases. Once I get to the heel, I'm like, oh, I can see it's like climbing a mountain, right? And once you get over the heel, you're like, I'm flying.
It's true. I feel like there's a point like that in any project. And it's probably not the same point for everybody. So we typically do toe up and the heel is like the halfway mark. It could be even more than the halfway mark if you're doing shorty socks.
Which I often do.
I'm with you on because light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I don't have a big attention span. So once I get past the heel, I'm like, I'm kind of bored.
I hear you. Well, I'm glad you picked them back up because I love that color.
Yeah, they're great.
They look great. Are you a fan of Hermione's as a pattern for?
It's my second pair of Hermione's, and I don't normally do patterned socks because I don't know, I'm lazy. I'm not sure why I don't.
Vanilla's easy, right? Yeah,
super easy.
Yeah.
But Hermione's, I like them.
Cool. Yeah. I think there's probably a ton of people who've made those. Shout us out in the comments with all the sock commentary you want.
Yes.
Just go for it.
Just do it.
So I have, since we were talking about German short rows, I'll show one of my whips. I just want to say for the record that my miniature whip, it's not even like mustache size toe yet. Hold on. There it is. It's a baby toe.
It's a little baby toe.
It matches your hair, your purple.
Purple,
hair.
Yeah. I don't have much of the purple left, but it's somewhat there.
It's a North American yarn.
Oh, pretty. So it's like, that's called marled, right? When it's like that?
It is. This colorway is cameo colors, and yep, it's marled. So it doesn't do a very distinct striping. It just kind of fades from one color into another, and each of the strands actually has multiple colors in it.
Cool.
So I don't know at what point doesn't it officially become a whip, like at the cast on?
Yeah.
We'll count that one.
Absolutely. It's a whip.
But you mentioned German short rows, and I am also a fan and a convert. So, and when I say a convert, I mean from a traditional wrap and turn short row. Shannon mentioned that in the Sockmatician recipe.
Wraps and turns.
He talks you through how to do German short rows, which I actually watched a YouTube tutorial that calls the German short row more like you know how wraps and turns are usually written in a pattern as WNT. So this tutorial said that German short rows are more like T and W, turn and work, because you kind of turn your work to the wrong side or right side and work the short row stitches. So if you've done German short rows before, that will make sense to you. If you haven't, just Google German short rows. There's lots of good YouTube videos.
They'll change your life, friend.
Seriously. Shannon is right. They are invisible. I am using them on this whip, which is a breathing space sweater.
So beautiful. We're going to be twins.
I know. You inspired me. So your first breathing space and your finished object dance, please go find that episode, people. Made me want to knit a breathing space, so I did. I made one for myself. And then my breathing space made my daughter want one, so this one is for Adachi.
Oh.
So
I was going to say.
Okay.
I
did a gray and
it's your second one.
White.
Those are good colors. I love that red. I love deep reds.
Me too. Red is my power color, so anything in that color family, I'm a fan.
So what is that red?
This is a Knit Picks yarn. This is Knit Picks palette, but it has a different name. I'll send it to you if you want it. We'll put it in the show notes, but it's Glimmer. Sorry.
Is it
Glimmer,
Tweety?
because it has sparkle actually.
Oh, what?
So it's got silver stellina.
It's very
So it has a
subtle
little,
though.
yeah,
Like
it
the
is. And
sweater doesn't look super sparkly.
I think that's why Adachi picked it. So my oldest is Adachi. She's 15. She's just an understated kind of really calm person who doesn't do loud is not her deal. So she picked these yarns. And the fun thing about this sweater is we got this one from Knit Picks because she loved the color. And this sweater is built with a lot of 2-row stripes, as you can see. So our striping color is this speckle, which Adachi actually hand dyed herself.
That is awesome.
So she dyed this speckle yarn, and we thought kind of the most prevalent color to coordinate was the pinks and reds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we picked this colorway from Knit Picks Glimmer is called pomegranate. And so that's how we picked it. And I think she did such a good job with the speckling because they're really evenly, they're pretty well distributed.
It really is.
Yeah, so I'm at the point of doing the short rows. It's a paid for pattern. I'm not giving away like any magical secrets.
No.
But there are short rows near the bust line. So you can see that diagonal that's being created.
And the
that's
neck
all
too.
Done. And at the neck,
yeah.
Yep. So the back neck has some short rows that help the back neck to rise up a bit, which is great, by the way, for fitting.
Yes, for sure.
And I don't know how well you guys can see, but there are short rows in there. And had this been a wrap and turn, you would be able to see exactly where they are. But these are done with German short rows, and you can't see nothing.
No, it looks great.
So I'm really enjoying it. Anytime you knit something for the second time.
Yeah, you must like it if you're doing it again. Yeah.
Like, this is fun. I did try something different this time where it's a raglan top-down construction. So I did that, I guess, collar and neck part, and then I did one sleeve.
Oh, look at you.
So what I found out is I thought that not jumping into the slog of the body would be so great and I would do the sleeve. Well, I totally stalled because I knit magic loop, and this is a small circumference carrying 2 yarns, and it was basically a lot of knit a little bit and then I had to turn, knit a little bit and then I had to turn, and then I tried really hard to make my stripes line up nicely, fiddly.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting the sweater down for quite some time because of that. So I learned a lesson. Just because a sleeve is smaller and quicker doesn't necessarily mean it's going to inspire me to move through the project.
Yeah.
So that's why I now have one sleeve and I've started the body. I like knitting for longer when I'm striping.
Right.
So going around the body is great, and I'm cruising.
You have time to get into a rhythm.
I couldn't have said that better. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a fun sweater to make. I enjoyed it. I don't enjoy wearing it as much as I don't feel that. I mean, so okay, here's a shouty shine for you. Like, screw flattering, because like, what's flattering? Like,
yeah,
you do not need to dress your body type. I totally disagree. You know what you need to do? You need to feel good in your clothes. You feel good in your clothes, that's flattering. Like,
yeah, flatter yourself first.
Yeah.
Right?
The patriarchy can whatever. So women get to wear whatever they want, and if they feel great in it, great. So I guess I want to say, like, it's not very flatter on me, but I also want to push back against that. So
how do you feel when you put it on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I think it doesn't, like, you know, if I'm talking about conventional beauty, it's probably not, you know, Stacy and Clinton probably would not dress me in that sweater. So
pop culture reference.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this isn't a good sweater for me, but I made it.
You made it, and it's gorgeous, and the colors are amazing.
So I make myself wear it from time to time.
Is it comfortable?
It is really comfortable. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But when I see myself in pictures of it, I'm like,
And that's okay, right? I mean, that could go for something store-bought.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's really cute. Like, when I just see it on the hanger, I'm like, you are adorable.
I love that though. You love the hand knit.
Yeah, I mean, I made it. I feel proud of it. It's too bad I don't like feel great in it because I don't reach for it very often.
Right.
But so yeah, maybe I need to do more thinking about that. But that's my thing. But yeah, so it's a good knit. It's a good pattern. It was fun. It was fun to make. I think it was my first legit sweater. Like my first sweater was the Tin Can Knits, the flax, which is just like kind of a box sweater.
It just gets you into knitting a garment.
This was like legit shaping,
the whole deal,
the whole 9 yards. So I was like, whoa, I'm a real knitter now.
You are. And look at you. You're wearing another sweater that you just finished.
Yes, so I know. And actually this
clearly caught on.
I really love this one. Like I have been wearing it nonstop pretty much.
Sometimes I think you have to have the opposite experience to appreciate something. So you made a sweater and it's awesome and you made it and you're proud of it. But when you wear it, now you made a sweater. It's awesome. I love that color on you, by the way.
Thank you.
And you love wearing it. So you got all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know what it feels like to have made something that you feel good in, that you love, that you reach for a lot. So yeah.
I've been all about the sweater knits. My breathing space, I'm not super crazy about mine on me. And when people see it, they have been super complimentary. And I realize that my only issue with it is that I made it too big. I overcompensated for my gauge. Yeah. And so I guess it would fall into that flattering category. I find that it's looser on me than what was intended, because some sweaters look great when they're sort of slouchy and loose. But I think I went a hair too far. But yeah, I wear it similar to you. I love it because I made it. So
exactly. And it's a cool looking sweater. And I think when people find out, like I was sitting in the coffee shop and there was some non-knitters at the end of the table who were trying to like kick out because all of our people were about to descend upon them, and we had that huge
we needed our space.
Yeah, we needed our space. And so he's like, yeah, we're going soon. And he's like, did you? And then they started to brag about what they were wearing. They're like, and she made that. And he's like, you made that? I was like, yeah, I did.
Moment.
Yeah.
Don't you wish it was like TV where those sparkle things would start coming out from your shoulder? Yes, I did. And everything would pause.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Those are fun moments to have it is really fun to have like your group of knitters.
Of course.
That's so great because they super get it. But when
they totally get it,
someone who doesn't necessarily gets it, you're like,
it's just another check mark.
Totally. It's a nice feeling for sure.
I love it. I do have one more whip.
Okay.
Sort of sticking with the theme of North American makers. Ugh, was that dramatic enough?
It was good.
So I went down the crochet blanket, the crochet rabbit hole, #crochet rabbit hole. I resisted so much so. Shannon was part of the beginning of this blanket project. And I was so resistant to it that I have called this project on my Ravelry page the I'm not making this. So I'm totally in denial about jumping on this bandwagon, but I might as well have started the club. I'm that far in. So
I love it because I get it so much. We had this conversation where I was like, everybody's making this. I'm super not making it. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to do it.
I know.
I'm too cool to be part of
the teach me how to crochet.
Now every time I see one, I'm like, oh.
I know. That was me. And even as I was casting on, I was like, this is just a practice chain because I just want to see.
You're in denial about casting. You were. That's the perfect name. I'm not making this.
I'm not making this.
I'm not making this.
I'm not making
this. Is just practice.
Okay, 17 rows in, I'm still just trying it out completely. I also had the excuse that I used to say no to scraps. I had a thing with leftovers. I would try to use every bit of yarn. By the way, toe-up socks, use it all. If you
that was reason number 7.
I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a lot of minis. I didn't have a lot of scraps. Boy, our tribe, I will tell you what, they come through. Don't tell people on the internet that you don't have a lot of minis for the blanket that you're not making, because minis will just start to arrive in your home People will suddenly mail you small bits of yarn. People like Shannon will hand deliver you ready to knit balls of yarn.
I drove to Florida with some yarn for a blanket.
It was something like that.
It's not true.
We met up in northern Washington State, and Shannon had minis for me for this blanket. So there's a lot of North America represented in this blanket. So now, although I'm not making it, I'm completely in love with it.
It's really beautiful.
And I want to crochet on it all the time. So it's got a lot of different yarns in here. Some of them are commercial yarns, like patterns. I'm trying to do a little bit of, tying it together by having some grays and more neutrals in between the brights. And then it has super special stuff. Shannon's section is in here. Do you recognize your section?
I do. I see. Yeah, I see a lot of it.
I mixed a lot of them in. And that's one of the things I love about this kind of project. I will honestly say I totally get why people do these. I totally get why people do the mini Cozy Memories blankets. Every time I pick this up and look at it, I'm thinking of where these yarns came from, what project it was involved in. I have hand-dyed yarn by Adachi in here. I have yarn that I've used to make my husband's socks. I have yarn that I've gotten from friends like Shannon. And I really do appreciate the kindness of someone saying, hey, I'm not going to use this, and you have this project going, you're welcome to it. So then I get this memory of them. So Crochet Rabbit Hole, I totally get it. I'll probably make another one, except I won't make another one, but I probably will.
I really just need to have like a couple days with you where you can get me started, because Grace was here from Babel's Traveling Yarn.
Hi, Grace.
Hi Grace. And she did get me started. I got the first chain done, and then I got partway into like the next row, and then she left, and I was like, I have no idea. I have no memory of what I was doing.
You need some more Crochet Mojo.
So
I can do that for you.
I need a little bit of hand holding for a couple days in order to
do that for you.
Find a rhythm.
Some of you know that I've started a new job, and one of the benefits of that job is that I actually travel much further from home now, and I've already been just within a couple hours of Shannon once, and will likely be again. So Shannon will also not have a crochet stripe blanket at some point.
Yes.
If I have anything to say about it.
Mine will be called, I am also not making this.
Bandwagons are for suckers.
I'm too cool for this blanket.
I tell you, if you look at the hashtag Crochet Rabbit Hole, just be prepared to cast one on. That's all I'm going to say.
It's so true. They are beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So that's what I'm working on. That's my works in progress. One of my recent acquisitions was from a dyer who's just getting started on Etsy. Her name is Hannah. Hi, Hannah. She's Hannah Florine on Instagram, and she has an Etsy shop called Hannah Made It. And I really appreciate the pack of minis she sent me, because she makes some beautifully bright, non-naturally occurring colors. And I say that in a complimentary way. She doesn't do your standard colorways. Here are some examples. She manages to get like 3 different types of pink in 3 different minis. And so it's giving my blanket this, all the neutral parts get this nice lift, which I really like. I would never have thought that so many different types of colors and tones would go together, but thank you, Hannah, for these brights that you've given me. There's going to be a really nice Hannah section in there that balances everything out.
Oh, I love that. That's so great.
Yeah.
I picked it myself while you were talking.
Oh, cool. See? It's back.
I can't do that when I'm podcasting alone.
That is great about podcasting together. I do love that.
Yeah. So finished objects. I have one. I thought I had 2, Elizabeth, but then I forgot I showed this last.
Well, my viewers hadn't seen your sweater yet, so that's a good one.
So I finished this. I cast on the Harvest, and I think I finished it within 2 weeks.
I think you sneezed and it was done.
Yeah, it was a fast knit. And this is Oh, I can't think of it.
I know it too. Is
yeah,
Knit Picks?
it's a Knit Picks.
It's a Knit Picks City Tweed?
Tweed, not city.
I thought it had tweed in the name. I'm totally cheating and I'm completely looking at Ravelry.
Yeah, it's on my project page.
I love that color. We already know.
So yeah, it's a great color. It's not really, it's more like orangey.
Okay,
red.
then it's showing up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a super simple knit. I changed a lot of things about it.
Okay.
And I don't love it. It fits fine. Mm-hmm. But so let me give you this advice. If you are going to make a cardigan, especially a cardigan that does not have short rows at the neck, add short rows, because this is the second cardigan I've made that does not have short rows in the pattern, and it will not stay on my body.
Oh, yes.
So
I remember you had to go through quite a bit to try to adjust the last time.
The campsite
to keep it
cardi.
from slipping.
And it still doesn't stay on my body.
Wow.
So I have to do something. I actually think I'm going to rip out my campsite cardi.
Oh, wow.
If you know me at all, is also not in my personality. I'm not a frogger. I am not a frogger. So It's a big deal that I'm going to rip that out. And I think I'm going to rip this out too, because it just won't stay on. So the things that I changed are I added a lot more. So you're supposed to increase every other row for this front section until you get to a certain point. I increased every row because I wanted more. I find that a lot of knit cardigans just sort of like sit here. And I wanted more coverage.
Right, just outside the bust line.
Yeah. I don't really love that. So that's one thing I did.
Okay. In your Knit Picks Wool of the Andes tweed.
Thank you. And it's not Firecracker Heather. Is that what it is?
This one is Firecracker Heather.
Okay, yeah.
You know your yarn.
So I think it's 80% wool and 20% Donegal.
It says other, which would be the Donegal Tweedy Bits.
Yes. So the other thing I changed is I did not do this is garter. I didn't carry the garter on. It's got kind of dark in here. I didn't carry the garter on for the ribbing because I don't like the bulkiness of garter.
Yeah, it wouldn't pull in and give any shape at the bottom.
Yeah, it called for garter on the cuffs too, and I did actually a half twisted rib.
What does that mean?
Means that I twisted every second row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you like how it came out?
I do. It's nice. It's actually kind of like if you don't look very close, it kind of looks like the garter.
Oh.
Like it's not that different.
Yeah.
Like this is garter and this is half twisted rib.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little bit less obvious that I completely switched it up.
I think love that you decided I'm going to make these modifications and make it look the way I want.
Yeah. And then for some reason, like I tried it on a couple times and the back was really like sort of riding up. So I added some short rows at the bottom at the back. Why did I not think to do that at the top? I don't know, but I didn't.
Short rows are magic.
So it has got some short rows at the bottom. And
so it's knit top down?
Yeah, it's top down.
Is there any concept of are you thinking you're going to frog all the way, or are you thinking there's a way you could just recover the top yoke?
Well, I'd have to go all the way back. I don't know how. I mean, there probably is a way. Knitters, I don't know the way.
Community, if Shannon wants to fix the yoke of this top-down cardigan,
I mean, I guess I could treat it like a afterthought heel.
Put a needle in there somewhere and
do some short rows. But will I actually do that? Probably not. At least not for a while. When something is this disappointing, I mean, it was a quick knit, so it's not as bad, but when you spent that much time on something and it just doesn't fit right, it's a huge bummer. So it's going to sit for a little while at least.
It'll go in the naughty corner until you love it enough again to make it wearable.
Yeah.
The color is gorgeous.
It is. It's a really nice color. I feel like I keep covering the microphone when I do that. But I feel like there's a few other things I changed. I can't remember, but anyways, it's
You've
a
got
nice.
some good notes in your
Yeah.
in your Ravelry page, so you guys can check out Shannon Fisher on Ravelry. The Spring Harvest cardigan project on her project page has some good notes in there.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
support you, whatever you decide. If it has to
mhm.
sit in hibernation for a little bit, that's okay too.
Yeah, I think it
You've
will.
done a good number of garments in the last several months.
I have. I've decided that I'm like a pair of socks on the needles and a garment. That's my thing.
What a good balance.
I don't like having too many things on the needles. Super
Mhm.
stresses me out.
I've
So-
heard many people say that, and I think I'm getting to that point, but it's because I've tucked into some bigger projects. I have
Mhm.
another work in progress that's, I don't think it's near enough to me to show, but it's also a cardigan, and it's worsted weight, and it's like you gotta pick it up and sit down with it and work with it. So that type of project is great, and a pair of socks I feel like is a really good balance. And
Yeah.
this one has finer yarn, so it just feels like a smaller project to me.
Yeah.
But it's got things like short rows, and I need to measure every now and then, whereas the other one is like straight boxy body. I'm just going.
It's interesting. I would typically in the past I would stay like projects like the breathing space sweater I would think, oh, it's gonna be too overwhelming, I won't do it. But because it has so many like things where you switch it up, it really keeps your attention.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I actually, when I picked it back up again, I thought, why wasn't I knitting on this all this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just need breaks from things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, garments involve some math, and they involve some thinking, and I can see where, I'll speak for myself. There are times when I'm totally into that, and that's what I need from my knitting. And then there are other times where I need my knitting to be the exact opposite of that. And I need it to be rounds of stockinette.
Yeah.
That's what I can handle.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah.
That's a great thing
It's
about
like
this craft, though.
Deciding what friend you're going to hang out with. Do I want like a quiet evening, or do I need someone to like light my fire?
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
That's life.
Totally.
We could probably do a whole episode on how knitting is like life. Let me give you 10 reasons.
Knitting is life.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
you
like for this. I was going to say, for this, I was so close to finishing this for so long. I was on Sleeve Island for months, and I just like put it down at some point for like 6 weeks. I was like, whoa. And then I picked it up. I'm like, why did I not? I could have finished this 6 weeks ago. Like, it was super fast, but I just needed a break from it.
Yeah. So that's it. Maybe you couldn't have finished it 6 weeks ago because you weren't there.
No.
You and that project were not there.
We weren't.
I will tell you that when you showed a picture of the point at which you joined the sleeves to the body is when I picked up my other cardigan again, because that had kept me from progressing on it. I was like, in my head, this sleeve joining to the body is where it becomes a real garment, and what if I mess it up? And so my instinct at that time was to put it away. And then I saw yours, and I'm like, that's when it becomes a garment, dummy.
Yeah.
Pick it up and go for it. So
yeah.
I'm glad I did, because the rest of it now feels like sailing along.
Yay. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'll probably show it a couple episodes from now, because it's for my mother-in-law, and it's not really sweater weather in Florida anymore.
Was it ever?
There were a couple days. There
anymore.
were a couple days there in February. She would have loved that cardigan.
That's like turkey that's like Christmas dinner. You like spend all the hours on it to wear it for 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much. We're fortunate that because it's often hot here for so many months, everywhere overcompensates. So if you're inside, it's cold.
You need something.
And she works with senior citizens, and so she works in a building, and she wants it to be her back of her chair sweater.
Nice.
So she'll get some wear out of it when I finish it.
Yes. Fun. Very fun.
Good.
Well, thanks. It was so fun to do this with you.
It's my pleasure, darling.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we were able to. I'm excited about our knit along.
Me too. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So we'll do a couple more recordings together. We were saying like probably for sure 1 or 2 more. 3 were like superstars.
Killing it.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you could head over to the chatter thread and start to like get excited about this. Well, people already have, but we want to hear from the rest of you. So yeah.
North America's huge, so we know you guys are out there. Join the conversation, expose us to some makers we don't know about yet, including yourself, if that's you. The knit along is open.
Yeah, don't be shy. Toot your own horn if you want in there. We would love to know about you.
Definitely. And thanks, Shannon, for hosting the threads and for getting us together. And for all of my viewers, go and check out the Soxcetera podcast.
And go check out BrownBerry Chronicles.
All right, friend.
Awesome.
Love ya.
Bye, everybody. Big loves, much love.
Bye.
Okay, you are not a bear, because if you are,